Breakfast looked pretty darn good yesterday. Like,
It's so funny. I post these videos and I hope people watch them, but at the same time, I'm like mortified when people say they watch my videos that I know. Uh,
yeah, yeah, I
'Cause
could totally get that. You get in there, so it's quite amazing.
mhm. Yeah, I try to lean into like entertainment, and my background with restaurants just made sense for us to have, content around making food. And the same thing, I'm married to a Mexican man. My whole Married to a Mexican Man series, is it's perfect for recipes and what have you. And then it gives me an opportunity to sprinkle in beverages to promote
Yeah,
Soberish.
yeah, it's hysterical because like I watched a bunch of them and you kept saying like you didn't keep saying it, but I heard it in a few different ones. I'm married to a Mexican man and da 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 da, and
It's
like you
kind of
do a
my
really
thing.
good job of like putting it all together.
Yeah, it
So
is. I call it my Married to a Mexican Man series. So
yeah, yeah, and then your integration with your mom, which is like, I mean, you basically have your own produced reality series, if you will. So
oh, it's
that's
been
the way
fun
it.
doing. It's a lot of work though. Like there's so many days I don't want to post, and I'm just like, oh,
So yeah, walk me through it because like I've never done anything quite like you have. I've done when we first started Producify, my wife and I made like this plan that we were going to film. We had like a business coach, and they were like, "You got to film every day. Like, you got to practice what you preach." And so we did. I think we did like 2 solid weeks of every day, and we were going to conferences. And but then I stopped. Like, you're like, walk me through your process. Like, how are you doing this?
So honestly, I did the same thing. Like I didn't know, being, a serial entrepreneur, I was like, maybe I'll talk about entrepreneurship or like the behind the scenes of like running a company, or maybe we're real estate investors, so maybe talk about investing and saving money to like invest. And I don't know, like I didn't know. That's how I honestly originally started my little TikTok adventure. And I was like, well, this is boring. Nobody wants to watch this. So then I just kind of thought of like, how can I entertain but educate? And so that's where, I'm like, oh, these non-alcoholic alternatives. And we started trying. And that's where those videos did really well. So it was like, okay, that resonates. And then I just started sprinkling other pieces of my life into the content to really just see kind of what sticks. And I'll continuously try different things. And then as I see like the whole Married to a Mexican Man idea, I just like randomly threw a video up there and people it went crazy. And I was like, "Oh, that's funny. I can totally do this as like a series." And so like every like week or every 2 weeks I'll throw another video in. Um and then again, I was making something. I was like, I don't know what to post. I'm making these gorditas. It's very visually entertaining. I'll just do it on camera. And people were like, how did you make those? I love this recipe. And I was like, maybe there's something here. So it's just like really trialing different things to see what works. I don't know. I don't really have a
So
magic sauce, but just trying a lot of stuff and then leaning into what works.
so you kind of sort of just like go with it. You're just like, I mean, do you have it like scripted out and built out like for the week or like
Oh God, no. I wish I
yeah,
did. No.
okay.
So I try to lean into those pillars of
Uh-huh.
content. So, for me, it's recipe, it's behind the scenes or something to do with the business of growing a company, and then some type of like the Mexican man's, angle.
Yeah.
But they'll be like this whole like soberish mom. So like my mom and I will be silly in videos. Those necessarily don't happen every week. But I'll just think about like, so yesterday I made dinner, and so I filmed every piece of it. And so now I know I have recipes. I at least have 4 recipes because I have the individual side dish, main dish, and then like I did biscuits with it. And so I can use those individually as content, and then I can put it all together as like, what are we eating today? And I'll like do like bits of each one of those videos to show the whole meal. So it's kind of that use and reusing content. But I don't overthink it because that's when it feels hard. Like I
Yeah.
just try to keep my eyes and ears open of things that are happening in my life that I'm like, oh, this could be entertaining. I don't know, or I could have this spin on it, but it takes a while to get there. So, because I used to always overthink it.
So yeah, but you even show it. I mean, like I watched your video where you did, I think 20 takes where I don't know what you were like submitting to, but like you
My
showed it.
pitch,
And
yeah.
and I mean that's It's pretty intimate. I mean, like, it's funny talking about storytelling, like, you know, the I feel like the only way to tell authentic stories is to get vulnerable. And it seems like in almost every one of your videos, you're able to break that barrier and get vulnerable.
Yeah, I mean, because at the end of the day, my social media is what's eventually driving sales for companies. And so people want to buy from people and they totally can tell if they're being sold. And so I'd rather show them the highs and lows. And if they want to be a customer, I want them to feel comfortable with that and that they're actually buying from someone like myself and like the kids, you know what I mean? Like my kids are in gymnastics because we have successful customers. We have like we're selling things. That whole analogy of like, you're putting ballet slippers on the mechanics kids, it's so true. And so if I can just bring people into my own world, I feel like there's a higher opportunity that they'll convert into customers, or that maybe they won't turn into customers, but the next time they hear of someone who is maybe looking to drink less or looking for something for a bit of relief, they'll be like, oh, I follow this girl Kimmie, she has a company called Soberish. And so that's it's funny because last year around Christmas time, all of a sudden we had this spike of sales, like right around like obviously Thanksgiving, Christmas, there's a big like gifting, but also just like new, they were from new customers though. And I thought, and at the time we were only organic, we didn't have any paid ads. And I'm like, I bet you people went home and told their friends and family that they like met up with for the holidays. Like, oh, like if somebody's saying they drink less, who do you talk about? Like, oh, I
Right.
followed this person. So anyway, that's just in my head what happened. I don't know. It could have been something else.
But Kim, I mean, so you start Soberish, like, so what came first then? The TikTok channel or the brand, or were they like the same? Like, what happened here?
So my last company was a marketplace. I grew it from an idea to a couple million users in 5 years. It was acquired. And after that acquisition, I was like, okay, I've been there, done that. I am going to
Yeah.
take this cushy job at Michigan State University within their research foundation. And I'm just going to coach startups and like give
Yeah.
everything that I've learned to the people who are building new startups. But man, I got bored. I went from like working a million hours to like, what do you mean I
Yeah.
punch out at 4? Like, what? What is this? I got weekends off? Like, no, what? And so, at the same time, my mom, who struggled with, or continues to struggle, I think, with alcoholism, moved in with us. And I'm like, "Ah." So my past life, we had bars and restaurants. So we typically
Yeah.
have cocktails in our house. And I'm like, well, maybe we shouldn't drink as much, but there's these like non-alcoholic alternatives. And I was never a cannabis user.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Mom, this one has CBD in it. I'm like, we should try it. And at the same time, though, at the university, I was coaching startups to utilize social media, but I'd never actually done anything with my businesses in the past on TikTok. And so I was like, there's this new app called TikTok. We should like post a video there to see if I can like learn how to like analyze the analytics and see if I can like crack the algorithm. And I'm like, I don't know anybody there. That's for kids. Like, I'm too old.
Right.
And so we
Right.
propped up the camera and we're like trying these products. And like, for example, that first one that was just CBD, I was like, oh my God, am I going to get high? And they're like, and people in the comments were like, you're a moron. Because I didn't know. Like, I was just like so oblivious to life. But because I was so, I think, authentic and like genuine, like I was learning alongside of all these other people who are non cannabis users. I don't know. I think I really, I don't know, gained their trust. And so they were like, what products do you like? What products do you recommend? And so in August, 2 years ago now, I was like, I know I'm creating value for these brands that we're talking about. So I just created a
Right.
landing page that had all the links um, to their websites to track conversions. And I was like, so I can actually track when someone's buying. Maybe we are doing like $2,000 in sales for these brands. Well, in that first month, we generated over $60,000 in sales for the brands that we were talking about. And I was like, damn it, Mom, this isn't a hobby. This is a business. Damn it, not
Yeah.
to build it. So it was definitely not supposed to be a business. I actually was even telling the brands, like, I don't want an referral. Like, I don't want a referral. Like, I just
Yeah.
want the link so I can, because I'm a nerd and I want to see if I'm generating any sales, not because I
Yeah.
wanted any money back. And then, yeah, so we ended up, I was heads down, built what is Soberish, and we were supposed to launch in January. Well, my TikTok account got banned in December. And so I
Mm.
was like, well, what the hell? Like, I have like 100 followers on Instagram. I literally have my friends and family on Facebook. Like, who's going to use it now? I've done all this work. And so again, like me as like a business coach, I'm like, girl, if this is supposed to exist, you can do this everywhere. And if it wasn't just a fluke on TikTok, you could start another account and try again. And so, yeah, fast forward now, a year and a half later, we reach just around 30 million people a month on social media. I have around 200,000 followers on TikTok, just over that on Instagram, and I think it's just under 250,000 followers on Facebook. It's been absolutely crazy.
From nothing, from
From nothing.
nothing. And how many people are go to your website? How many users or clients?
So we just hit 100,000 like paid customers to date.
Wow.
Yeah, we convert anywhere between 3 and 4%. So, I
Wow.
mean, millions of, impressions on the site, but yeah.
So mom moves in, you're like, hey, sober curious, and you somehow serial entrepreneur get into like one of the biggest up and coming, e-commerce industries in hemp and hemp beverage, like in America right now.
Yeah. I had no idea that was the case though. I was literally just
Right.
like, what? Okay. Well, first I was like, okay, the first THC beverage I had, I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna get so high. Like,
Uh-huh.
ugh, but it's gonna be make for a good videos. So I'm like, this is probably gonna taste terrible. Open it up and I was like,
Yeah.
wow, this tastes delicious.
Yeah.
And it was like it was canned, and it was like 2 milligrams of
Yeah.
THC, 4 CBD, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, I'm so nervous. Like I was
Hmm.
like paranoid. Like, I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna be so high. I was like, Mom, we have Doritos, and we have the living room's clean for us to like crash on the couch. We'll be just fine. And I just felt like I had wine. And I was like, wait a minute. This beverage had like 20 calories and I got this nice like wine buzz. Like I didn't really feel high. Like, why is no one talking about these? And so, again, women just like me, professionals, moms on the other side of the camera were like, where did you get that? How is that
Hmm.
legal? How did you ship it to your house? And so that's where I was
Yeah.
like, I need to talk to them because this message needs to be shared. So, yeah, that's how it started.
It's wild. I mean, I've seen it like just, I had no idea what it was. I was still in Florida and um yeah, I had slowed down on drinking and then I decided I was going to just take like a month off, which went like 8 months. And in the meantime, I'm like, I go into a Total Wine, and I had known about cannabis and whatnot, but I go into a Total Wine and I'm like, what the heck is this? And they're like all over the stores. And, it started out with like a half a shelf, and then it's like a whole aisle of all these different products. And it's quite crazy, like seeing it explode and seeing like a lot of my friends that they really don't understand, like just like myself, or like what you were saying, there's not a lot of like literature out there. There's not a lot of like education. You don't know really what it is, like how it's going to affect you is what I'm trying to say, how much you should take. And yet I've watched your videos that are, not only are they super engaging and funny, and you like have like these different segues with your family and whatnot, but then you also break it down and you're like, hey, so you could be like a first time person that's never had this and have a high tolerance, or you could be like me and you have quite a few of them, and yet no matter what, 2 milligrams is going to be like maybe 4 is about your like ceiling. And
Mhm.
so a lot of brands don't do that, and so it's like your storytelling and the way you're getting intimate with it and explaining that is, I think, refreshing and super unique to that industry.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and thank you for saying that, but I also have my hands tied. So as
Mm.
much as I would love to come on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and say, "All right, girl, 2 milligrams of THC will make you feel like this." But did you know 13% of people don't actually feel any effects from THC? I can't even say THC. I can't even let the robots know on social media that I'm even talking about anything cannabis related. And so, yes, I definitely feel like I have my hands tied. That's why I've been leaning into, I call it the giggle grass. For me, because I turn into a raging hyena when I've had too much and I can't even control my face anymore. That's where the term came from. But not everybody gets the giggles. So maybe that's a little misleading. I'm not sure.
I
But
But I think everybody wants the giggles, right? That's the goal.
that'll reach out and be like, I did not get the giggles. I got this really relaxing, like I wanted to melt into the couch. No giggles, zero review, 0 star review. And I'm like, if there's nothing funny, you're just not gonna like hang out on the couch and laugh by yourself. Like I don't know.
Right, right. You have to start it. You have to start that stimulation somehow. All right. So wait, well, I got to ask you with the whole giggle grass, because like I saw your videos about it, And I'm like, oh my God, that's a great term. And then I Google grass and you come up. And I'm like, okay, so is that one of your brands? Did you copyright that? Cause like it's hysterical.
So I didn't. I think I coined the phrase "giggle grass." I have not seen anyone else call it that. No, it just honestly it came out of my mouth one morning. I woke up and I was like, "Oh, prop up my phone, a good like opportunity to film," because my cheeks ached. And so I propped my phone in front of my window to get like natural light. And I was like, "Oh my God, my face hurts." I'm like, "My eyelashes, look at these eyelashes." I'm like, I cried my eyelashes off. That damn giggle grass did it to me again. And people were like, "Giggle grass, that's so funny." And I was like, something's there. I'll take that. So
Oh yeah. No, I love the name. It's hysterical. I freaking love it. And it's like, I think like subconsciously it will put somebody in a good mood as far as like the term, you know? Going back to TikTok and social and like you can't even say THC and I know things are changing and all of that kind of stuff. How the heck do you have that many followers and no ads and have to like what the heck? Like that's like I can't tell you how many times a client is like they come to me, they have like they won't have any strategy and they're like we got to do ads and I'm like, well, there's a lot of brands that they don't start out doing any ads. It's just, you know, great storytelling and organic content. So, walk me through navigating an area that you can't say certain things and you can't run ads and that kind of stuff.
well, again, I try to say as much as possible with being discreet. I like always have my like finger over any like
Yep.
cannabinoids so they can't see it. I actually say there's just some things I can't say on social media, but please feel free to check out the website. It's all listed there. So then they're not necessarily think I'm selling them. We were going to run ads. The plan
Mhm.
was to run ads. When we launched, before we launched Soberish, during that time period of like 4 months that I was like heads down building Soberish, we were trying all these other products in the market. And also non-alcoholic products like non-alcoholic wines, spirits, something that they didn't give you this like euphoric effect. And every time I'd make one of these mocktails, I'm like, I wish there was like that buzz. Like you could like add the buzz to this. So it's like, is it like a shot or is it like a powder or is there a tablet I could add? Like, why is there nothing on the market that I could find? And I ended up coming up with a product called the Soberish Drops. And so along that like organic journey, I was showing me like trying the samples and like gagging, getting way too high off one because it was oil based and I didn't know it takes 45 minutes to 2 hours to actually hit your system. So the next day I was like, we got to start square one. I ended up so high last night, like we can't do that. And so I was just like being very open about the process. Like I ordered the wrong caps. They didn't, I have like
Right.
2,000 caps, whatever. So when we launched the website, we launched our drops. I had ordered 1,500 bottles and we sold out in like 3 days. I thought I had enough for 6 months or a
Oh
year.
my
I had
God.
no idea, absolutely no idea the kind of traffic. So then I was like, well, shoot, if I can do this without ads, I'm not going to spend money on ads. I can barely keep up like
Right.
organically. So we just
Right.
started leaning into like, I'd rather instead of spending thousands of dollars a day in ads, if I can do an hour a day doing content, I'd rather keep that money, right? And
Yeah.
so I kind of got in the mindset, videos create sales, videos create sales. And so leaned really hard into that for the first year. We ended up doing $1 million in sales in our first 12 months.
It's
But
incredible.
then business brain Kim goes, if you can do this without ads, what do you think you can do with ads? And
Right.
so we just, I took one of the videos that did really well organically and we started putting paid spend behind it. Cause I thought, again, if you're like swiping through your phone, you get served up an ad just as if it's in their video. And so if it already does well organically, let's just pay to put it in front of more people and see if it converts paid. We've generated millions of dollars off that video.
Wow.
And we continue. That's our process. We post things organically, see how if they have any legs, and then we'll put money behind them and make them into ads. We don't ever start with an ad. I might create a video thinking that this could work for an ad, but we never just started as an ad, if that makes sense.
Oh, it's 100%. So you create the video, it has a following, it's shareable, etc., and then you're gonna potentially put money behind it and do an ad with it.
Like, for example, we were just talking about this today. Um, we have this video that is like comments on the internet. And they were like reviews of people leaving like really terrible reviews on our products. But they were like
Okay.
silly. Like one of the reviews was like 1 star. This product only made me sleepy. And the product was the sleep drops. And so we're like, or like I really wanted to relax, but all I did was stare at my cat and got the giggles. I'm like, what is this comment? So anyway, like right now that video is doing really well organically. So most likely tomorrow we're gonna put money behind it and run it as an ad.
All right, wait. So I haven't seen this one.
Oh,
Maybe
I
they
have,
were
I
too
have,
high and they meant five, but they did one.
I know they're just so random. Like some of these, or like just other comments that we got on the internet. I don't know that it just make no sense that it were just too funny not to share.
You talked a little bit about, and I've watched it, but when I talked with you last time, you had mentioned like that 360 approach is I think what
Mhm.
you call it,
Yep.
where and can you kind of go into that?
So the 360 approach is the exact same piece of content posted multiple places. So if you cannot
Mm,
reuse a piece of content, whether that's an image, a video, copy on a screen, like copy on a blog or on a LinkedIn post, whatever, if you cannot reuse it, then we're not using it. And so, because we're such a small team, if we can't repurpose content like across multiple channels, then we need to focus on one that can. And so, for example, I'll post on TikTok, I'll copy word for word the caption, and I'll post that same video on Instagram that will then automatically feed my Facebook. Then let's say it's a drink recipe or something. Now I can go
hmm
to my website and create the drink recipe in written form, embed that video on my website. I can then take that blog with the recipe and the video and put it in an email. So I can repurpose it there, like recipe of the week, high level, read the full recipe here, and maybe embed the
Right.
video on the email as well. Then maybe there's some like big aha moment or something worth sharing on LinkedIn. I can then reuse it over on LinkedIn. I don't really treat LinkedIn and Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok the same. I think it's two different audiences.
hmm
And then there's also an opportunity for press. So, for example, I had a video do really well. And so then I used that same video, sent it out to press, and said, I got 32 million views on this video. So there's like, that's where I mean like use and reuse. But then there's
Yeah.
also the concept of think about like a recipe video, or I do a lot of these, like, I did this pyramid pour for my days back at, we're owning bars and being the
Uh-huh.
bartender.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw
And
it.
it's like 5 drinks, okay? It's like
Yep.
the big mega viral video that I'd had. And so I've done it multiple times now where I'll do like 5 different Soberish cocktails, and it's super entertaining to watch it happen. But then each one of those 5 drinks can be busted out of that video. Be like, I did this 5 drink whatever. Let's talk about the apple martini. And then it just shows how I made that specific drink, and then that can live by itself on the website, and the same, like the whole process can happen per those 5 drinks. So that's how you like use and reuse content, at least how I do it.
You're crushing it. I mean, do you think that brands in general make these things too complicated?
I don't think they necessarily make them too complicated. I think they get overwhelmed with it
hmm
all. Like, part of me is just post, just do it. Like
Yeah.
97% of the people who watch my videos are non-followers. So I can post the same thing a million different ways, and my aunt or my sister-in-law will probably not see it because
Right.
the stats are telling me in analytics that non-followers are seeing this content. And so if that gets you out of your head of just posting all the time about your life or about your business, yeah. But as far as brands overthinking it, there's just something magical about keeping your eyes and ears open, at least when you're talking about like the founder and your own personal story about running your business, to just like have those moments in your day where like nobody would believe if this happened. Like nobody would, like, I don't know, like this is worth sharing. Just these like
Right.
little moments that happen. And honestly, me just propping up my camera and being real sometimes, those posts do so good or do so
We,
well because I'm just being authentic and real, and I don't know.
no, it goes back. Authenticity is the key, right? I think we'll talk about AI later, but that's like, how do you keep AI and authenticity together? And that's like a pretty tough challenge, although I think it'll just get easier and easier. Maybe. But you've got a lot going on, right? I mean, so you've got Soberish, but then you're still working with entrepreneurs and founders, right?
Mhm.
Michigan State.
Yep.
And what about the restaurant? Is that like still?
No, we sold the
No,
restaurant.
no.
We had two
Oh,
different
good.
restaurants. We had a banquet
Okay.
facility. Those all sold back in like 2018 when I
Okay.
launched the app that I started. Because I thought if
Got it.
we do this well, like this is nothing compared to these restaurants. And so I convinced my husband to allow me and help me build what we did, and yeah, it paid off. So it was a good thing. And then we also own real estate. So over the course of having Mexican restaurants, I always said we invested our taco money into real estate. So we have just under
Heck yeah.
150 properties in and around our town. So my husband does that full time, and that's kind of like our, if all else fails, at least we have all of these to lean back on. So
Yeah, good for you. That's incredible. Real
thank you.
estate, that's a crazy industry.
Yeah.
So, um, all right, let's go back to when I talked with you. You had mentioned like her when everything like buyer personas, and you talked about her. So,
hmm
can you kind of like deconstruct that and break that down a little bit for me?
Yeah, I feel like I'm teaching at the university now. So you cannot create a product if you do not know who your customer is. And you need to know every single thing about them. You need to know what makes them tick, why their hair is on fire. Like you need to know how they buy. You need to know all the things. You need to know how they speak. And so for me, I know who she is. I say
Hmm.
she because 98% of our customers are female. Not that men don't buy our products, but man, I'm laser focused on her. That's why we convert her. And
Right.
so, it's just really understanding your customer. And for me, I have a disadvantage because I swear my customer is myself. Like I literally feel like I'm talking to like myself as like my bestie on the other end of the camera every day. I'm like, what would I want to know? Like, how would I talk to my friends?
I get that. When I met you at that conference, like that's how I got that. And like that was my second hemp cannabis conference that I had gone to, and the previous one that I had gone to, w- you know, it's just conferences. You don't know what you're going to expect, but it was nobody was speaking to that crowd, and so it was it was pretty refreshing hearing you, because I was like, wait a minute. I think that I don't know all of the numbers and I'm not looking at all of the data, but it seems like that is the crowd, and it is somebody that's, um in the beverage at least space, that they're probably somewhere in our age group and whatnot. And it seemed like a lot of the brands that I was talking to were like, we're going to make something that has this many milligrams, and it's going to do this. And it's like, it's kind of like what you were talking about before, where it's like, yeah, and you can't get off the couch. And if that's your goal, like, awesome, great. But like, I think there's a lot of other people that are like, I just want to like slow down on drinking, and but I still want to be able to like function in my day to day. And like,
Yeah. Well, and that's
so
where that's their customer. Their customer is
yeah,
like the one who can take those 20, 50 milligrams. I would be dead.
right.
Like not really, but
Yeah,
like I would just be
no,
like, I would be out of commission for a couple days. And our customer doesn't want to feel stoned. She wants to take the edge off. She wants to
yep.
replace her nightly wine with something else that'll help her relax. She's having a hard time sleeping. We're like premenopause. She's like, I have so
Hmm.
much going on in my brain, kids, work, all the things. Like, I want to check out at night, just not check out and like all the way, just enough to
Right,
take that off. She's paranoid to get too high. And so
right,
that's what makes me nervous when you see all these like 10 milligram cans and 10 milligram shots, which I have nothing wrong with them. We carry a lot of them.
right,
But if that's her first experience with a product and she gets too high, she'll never come back to this category because she'll be like, oh, I didn't
right,
like the way I felt. Well, no, it's because you had too much. Like maybe you should start with 2 milligrams or max 5 milligrams, not 10. I can't handle 10. I'm a 4 milligram girly all day. Like 4 milligrams, I'm done. Like I like to do two at a time, mix, have like a sessionable drink. But yeah,
yep, yeah.
so
What were some videos that you posted that like exploded that you did not expect to have sort of an outcome like that.
Well, that pyramid video, that
Yeah.
was again just I would have never sat down and thought, what kind of content could I make that'd be entertaining? That video would have never come to mind. I was literally cleaning, like in a filing cabinet, looking for something, and I was like, oh. And I pulled out this newspaper article when I was on the front page of the paper bartending of me doing this pyramid pour, and I leaned down, like literally in the basement to my daughter, and I was like, "Look at mommy," and she's like, "What is that?" And I'm like, it's a party a trick I used to do. She's like, "No, but that," and I'm like, "Oh, this is a newspaper. We used to have these things called newspapers." And anyway, she was like, "No, you can't do that." And I'm like, "I bet you I still can." So it was literally just like I didn't have anything to make drinks with. So I'm like, I'm gonna color some like flavored water. At
Mhm.
least at the very least, the girls can drink it. I'm like, I'm just gonna prop up the phone because I'll probably make a hella mess, and that'll be
Uh-huh.
equally as entertaining to watch in
Yeah.
a video. And then it worked, and the kids' reactions were like authentic, and I sang the rainbow song wrong, and so many people commented that I was a moron, that I need to go back to school. My
Oh
Sunday
my
school
God.
teacher failed me. But yes, so that was the one. That one has mega millions of views and on all platforms. So that, but then I really learned how that, when people say about like the hook, like you get
Yeah.
them at the beginning. Like for me, the hook was, can I do this trick? But the beginning
Yeah.
of the video, I'm showing myself do the ending. And
Yeah.
it's like, I wonder after 20 years if I still have it. Obviously, I just showed you in the first 3 seconds, but people were like, I don't know, do you? Like, it was just so, like, for me, like an aha moment of, well, yeah, you show them the finale at first, and then you
Yeah.
back up and show them how you got there. And it's like, it was like and then you end right away. Once you show them, what you want to show them, get rid of the video so that they'll loop, and then you get 100% watch time, and that really helps with the algorithm. So that's something that in that video like really clicked on why that works. And so now I try to do that with every video. So like if I'm doing a recipe at the beginning, I'm eating the food, like wow, like I just did this biscuit video yesterday because I was making biscuits. I'm like, I was gonna videotape this. And I'm like, I wonder if I can make these biscuits as I'm looking at these buttery, delicious looking biscuits. And people are watching all the way through to see if I can make the biscuits. I'm like, I just showed you I did. Like, I don't know. So it works.
So you found out sort of how to do hooks like by accident?
I had heard of it, and I would like
Okay.
kind of just tested it then, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that works." And the whole storytelling and like
Yeah.
implementing like overlays and some other things. Um, Also like the whole Married to a Mexican Man, because I was like, how can this be relevant to Soberish? Well, I guess it started with I was talking to someone, and I was like, haha, people probably think I'm part of the cartel because my husband's Mexican and I'm selling drugs online. And I'm like, oh, so I text myself. I like to text myself when I have random ideas. And I'm like, oh, I need to use that in a video. And so I was like, I'm married to a Mexican man. Obviously, people think I'm part of the cartel because I'm selling the giggle grass online, And then I'm like, what else can I say that's funny? Like that. Oh, I don't know. And so that just turned into a thing.
Yeah.
So now it's anything funny in the Hispanic culture because I love to share their traditions, not because I'm pointing fun, but because I think everyone should know, because it's just so amazing. But yeah, so that is one that I was not expecting that I just threw up because I thought it was funny that day, and I'm like, okay, there's something here. Let's try again. And that one hit too. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna keep doing this.
Yeah, there's a lot. Like I watched the one with the batons and I was freaking dying, like just dying, and you've got your mom there and with like she's outside. I mean, I was like, are you kidding me with this?
Like literally, I was at a football game and the other team had these baton twirlers, and I was like, I told the lady next to me, I was like, I used to be a baton twirler, and she's like, do you have one anymore? I'm like, I don't know. And then I should make a video about this and ask the people if I should twirl. I'm like, then because she goes, there's an alumni game I bet she could twirl at, and I'm like, I am not twirling at alumni game, but I'm like, wouldn't it be funny if I like filmed myself preparing and maybe in the middle of me preparing, I can like crack a soberish beverage and try. Because I've also found selling without selling sells. Like when I'm just
Right.
using a product, when I'm like, all right, while that's cooking, I'm going to make this soberish cocktail because I'm trying to, drink less, whatever. I don't want to even talk about what it is. And people are in the comments, what is that? What was that you put in your drink? Where can I find that?
Mm.
So that all works.
And what's also unique is that you respond to these comments. Like you don't just like film it and forget it.
You have to respond.
Yeah.
And the trick to responding when you can is I prompt a question to them. So if people are like, "Oh my God, I love Soberish," instead of just responding a heart or responded like, "Oh my God, thank you," I will say, "OMG, thank you. What is your favorite product?" Or if they're like, "Oh my gosh, I love X," and I'm like I don't know, maybe the drops, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Thank you. Like we just launched those. Like, what is like your favorite thing to mix them with?" So that they have
Right.
to respond, and then that makes the algorithm think that there's a lot happening in your comment section, so it'll push that video in the algorithm. So same thing with on TikTok, you can respond with a video to comments, and
Right.
typically the video that you're responding to will do well when you are responding to the comments with videos, if that makes sense.
No, it does. And you're talking specifically about Instagram and TikTok. You're not on YouTube, right?
Mm-mm, I'm
Yeah.
not.
And
'Cause it's not
and
as easy for me. I literally post and copy and paste the exact same thing on the 3 platforms. On
yeah.
YouTube, it's different. You have to, like, do different things, and there's different buttons, and for me, I'm just like, "Ah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how this works."
And so it's TikTok, Instagram, and LinkedIn for you, right?
Facebook too.
Oh, Facebook,
I have
right.
the biggest following on Facebook.
Oh, really?
Well, you
Oh,
have to
okay.
think, where's the
Yeah.
40-year-old
Oh,
professional hanging
yeah.
out
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
night?
Yeah.
She's checking her kids, like, school Facebook group and whatever, like, not because we
Yeah.
want to, but because we have to, like,
I'm still like, so how do you turn this dropper or a can into like a video or a story that people care about?
again, it's less about selling the product. Like, I don't know. I don't even have a product on my desk, but I just have these drops sitting here. But it's like,
It's okay.
today I want to talk to you about the Soberish drops. No, I would never do that.
Right.
Be like, "Girl, I'm gonna need some of these Soberish drops tonight. Let me tell you what happened." Like, or whatever. And just
Yep.
like any reason to include a drink. Like for me, that's why it makes so much sense when I'm doing food recipes, because every recipe typically you can like pair it with a drink. But like you could do wine it out Wednesdays and whine about something on video, and while you're trying maybe a non-alcoholic wine. I've thought about that, but I don't have any non-alcoholic wines to try. But there's like all kinds of things, like the whole baton thing. Like I'm like, oh yeah,
Hysterical.
I could like be out there with some absolutely ridiculous outfit on, like practicing baton, and have to stop and like refuel and try a drink and be like, "Ooh, this is new at Soberish. Wow, this is really good," or whatever, and just keep going.
You messed me up with the can opener thing. Like, I didn't even know that was a thing. And like, I
So
watched two videos that had that thing in it. Like, one that had like the old school one, and I'm like, oh my God, she's gonna cut her lip on that thing, and then you didn't. And then you another video that you have like a specialized tool, and you're just like the whole video, you're just like, I'm like, is she gonna freaking open it or not? And then
I
you
know,
opened it, and like, of course, you like hooked me in it. And I'm like, I want to try that thing. I want to buy that.
I know that can opener should pay me lots of money because
They
it has
should.
millions of views. So that was so somebody had I did post about the Soberish drops on TikTok, and somebody was like, "What was that the dropper thing you used?" And so I'm like, respond with a video. And I look down and I'm literally in like a dingy sweatshirt, no bra, no makeup. I look like hot hell. And I look over on my counter and I remembered I had ordered one of these like can opener things that I hadn't used. And I was like, that's visually appealing. So I prop my phone, no fancy equipment, prop my phone up out on my deck. And I'm like, I'm going to tell you about these drops while I play with this tool. So I'm like, you saw me grinding it
Yeah.
out,
Oh yeah.
whatever. And I'm like,
Yeah.
holy shit, it worked. But I did the hook at the end, at the beginning. Like the
Uh-huh.
beginning, I pop the top off and I go, oh, and then it
Yeah.
goes into, I'm going to tell you about these droppers. Why? See if I can use this tool. I just showed you I use the tool.
I
Anyway,
know.
use the tool.
Terrible.
And people were like, so many comments were like, girl, will you please just open the thing? We've done, so that was a video that started out just, no, I didn't even think anything about it, obviously. Posted it, did really well organically. That's our number one performing ad now. And
Oh
so
wow.
we
That's
converted that to
cool.
an ad so that at the bottom it's like, learn more about the drops, or whatever.
Wow. Wow, that's wild. Do you want to talk about the sample box?
Sure. The whole idea for the sampler box when we first launched, so we sell for full size products for other brands. So whether that's a 4, 6, 12 pack of cans, gummies or other edibles where there's like, 20 plus in a package. But our customers kept saying, "Can I just buy like one of a couple different brands?" And I'm like, "Well, that's not
Mm.
really how we're built to sell."
Right.
And so it was like, how there's something here because people keep asking. And I even thought for my own journey, like I was trying all these different products, one of each to see what I liked. And so I reached out to some of the brands that we were friendly with and I said, would you send me 100 samples? 100 samples of one SKU. I'll put together 100 boxes. I'll try to get like 8 to 12 brands to participate in a box and I'll sell it and I'll sell it for cheap, like just enough for us to basically break even by the time we pay for shipping and all the
Yep.
whatevers. But our customers will be paying for samples because there's something to be said about somebody who's just getting a sample for free. They'll, hell yeah, everybody will take a sample for free. But when they're paying for it, they've now invested in this journey. And so that first sampler, again, launched it. It sold out in like hours. And I was like, okay, I don't know how sustainable this is. Like, if more brands will want to do this. But the brands on the opposite side want to get there, as the industry says, liquid to lips. Like, they want
Right.
people to actively be trying their product. And so, and they want my customer. They want her. They want who we're targeting. And so it's been a great opportunity for brands. Now we launch anywhere between 2 and 3 samplers a month. And each sampler, we launch 500 boxes of that sampler. So brands can participate in one or more samplers. Right now, we're doing our Sober October box, which required 1,000 samples because we wanted it to try to last for at least a week in October. We've already sold half, and it's, I don't even know, not even a week into October yet. Yeah, so it's
That's
been fun,
amazing.
but it's been
Wow.
great because we see so many of our customers come back and buy a full size product that they've tried in the sampler box.
Right. Yeah. And by the way, that video was hysterical too, with your mom and the cinnamon and the apple and then the apple pie. I was dying. Like, and then she was like, "It's coconut." I was just
I was
dying.
like,
You're
"What
like,
are
"No,
you
it's
smoking?"
holiday."
You went from coconut to apple cinnamon, or coconut to, I don't know, she liked cinnamon, apple. And I'm like,
Apple.
those are not
Mm.
the same flavor. What flavor are you
No.
tasting? We don't even do sales typically around holidays. I feel like the holidays are noisy. Outside of Black Friday, we'll do, obviously a
Mm.
Black Friday sale. And 420 was
Yeah.
a big day for us. It was our biggest day. It was
Oh,
so funny.
interesting.
420 was because it's just this like random holiday that our customers aren't celebrating. So their inbox isn't blown up by every other 420
Yeah.
friendly brand, just us. And we offered a really good promotion. And yeah, it was crazy. We had a huge day that day. But then some random Monday in July, we had a bigger day than we did then. And it was just like, what happened? Did the internet break? Why are we so busy today?
Oh my
So
gosh, that's crazy.
yeah.
Really?
So we're really
What?
excited about this year for the holidays. We have some amazing things planned. One being those seasonal shots. How fun though to like do that, with my mom and my team because it's like it's fun to try new things that we'd like to see in the market. But then we're also launching a Soberish advent calendar.
Get out, really? Oh my God, that's freaking genius. So you're gonna sell out of that, like for
I
sure.
know, but then we were like, how many do we make? Do we make 500? Do we make 5,000? Do we make I yeah.
I that's I don't know, but that's gonna be I can't wait to hear that you like sold out of however many you make. Like
I
I
know.
can just see it. Like,
Well, we're officially making 2,000. It's easy enough that we could probably spin over more if we needed. I don't know. We'll see.
so
I'm like,
how
either this is
big
the
is
most
this thing
genius
gonna
idea
be?
or I'm going to be stuck with all these advent calendars made up.
I
So
don't know. I don't know. That sounds like a pretty amazing idea. What's your secret weapon like for social or platforms? Is it TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, email?
all the above, they all work together. Somebody might see me on TikTok and then I hit them again when they're on Instagram. They'll see my face over there and they might be really hungover one Sunday and sign up to be on our email list. And
Mm,
then it might not be, a month or a week later that they open one of the many emails that we send, and that's the one that that triggers them to convert. So I don't think it's they see me in one video and they convert. I think it's I hit them a couple times with a couple different angles and then they convert. But email does really well. I try to remove all the fluff. I try to
mhm.
add a ton of value. Like I don't want to be a sale brand. I mean, I can't control the pricing of the other brands we work with, so
Right.
like I can only do so much there when it comes to price. But I want to be there to answer questions. I want to be there to show our favorites. I want to be there to just put the best products in front of our customers. But at the same time, I don't always want to sell her. So I like there's some that's like THC, CBD, WTF. Like, what is this stuff? You know, like
Right.
so it's like breaking like what is THC? Traveling with THC. Like, what is CBN? Like, I didn't know what CBN
Mm.
was. Let me explain it to you because I didn't know. So let me tell you in my own language. And so those seem to work really well.
Oh, that's great. So you educate then on that type of stuff.
Yeah, or you're having a house party. Here is an
Yeah.
alcoholic, a non-alcoholic, and a soberish option, all with the same base. So you can make
Oh.
this pumpkin spice martini, you know, base. You can add vodka in it for a regular martini. You can drink it as is. The kids can have it like that, or you can add this shot or this whatever in with the and make it like a soberish option. And so a lot of those, like, 'cause I'm not gonna shame you if you want to drink, girl. We're
Yeah.
sober-ish, whatever that means to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
So,
Right. Oh, that's great. So, all right. So that's on your email because I'm not on your email subscription. I guess I should be on there. So you're sending, is it a GIF? Is it a video? Is it a link? And then you like break it down, or how do you do that?
what via email? So email, when you come to the site, we offer like a pop-up, like get
Hmm.
15% off. We A/B tested whether they wanted $5 off or 15% off, like 15% won. So that's what we ran with. And then with that, now we have their email address. I also use many chats on
Mm.
Instagram. So there's random times that I'll say, comment this word. I'm sure you know. Do you know what that is? Many chats? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But no, I was going more like in the line of how you're delivering the content through email, like the educational series.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
it
So it depends. It depends. So
okay?
like we'll typically have, again, if I'm going to do a video, any type of
Yeah.
content, I'm going to reuse it. So we might
Yeah.
have like
Oh,
a
got it.
landing page that talks about like THC. So then when people are Google searching, like, what is THC? Hopefully one day
You
we'll
can.
show up in the rankings there or in your chat GPT or what have you. And then maybe I do a full blown video on it. Then I take like a GIF of that video or GIF or whatever, however you pronounce it,
Hmm.
in your
Yep.
email. And it has
Yeah.
maybe a blurb about it and be like, read the full article here. Or if they click on that video, it also takes them to that page.
That's it. I love the educational because like I'm like a total geek with that stuff, and there's a lot of those things that I have no idea with the CBG, CBD kind of, and CBN. But like,
Hmm.
there's a lot more than that too that I don't
Which we
really
don't get
know.
into the alphabet soup. I feel like she is
Yeah.
already overwhelmed when she comes to our
Right.
site. And so she just wants,
Nope.
okay, think about vodka. You don't go in and you're like, what is that vodka made from? Where is that vodka made? You want to know how it tastes and how you're going to feel. You know how you're going to
Yep.
feel if you've ever had vodka before. Or let's say rum, for example. A Bacardi, just a regular Bacardi, you're going to feel one way. A
Yep.
Bacardi 151, you are going to get mega drunk and it's going to be really strong and stay away because you can light that shit on fire. Okay. So now you know rum now, so you're like, I know how I'm gonna feel and I know how it's gonna taste, but now maybe there's this like Bacardi Limon. Oh, interesting. It's gonna taste what? Like the Bacardi that you know plus limon. And so, but you're not like, where was that Bacardi made? What types of whatever are in
Yeah.
it? No,
Yeah.
no, I don't care. I want to know how it tastes and how I'm gonna feel. And so
Right.
we try to talk a little bit about the THC and CBD because we want her to get used to looking for that because she might crack open a can of one of the brands, High Spirits, who has a 5 milligram can. It looks pretty much identical to the 10 milligram can. And I think they
Yeah.
might even have a 20 milligram can. And if they're not paying attention to those little milligrams on that can, then she will not know and get super stony baloney, as I like to say online. And so that's the only reason why we talk about it. And that's why we really only stay in like the THC to CBD. We have started talking about like the CBG and CBN just because it's like
Yeah.
this is going to be more uplifting. This is going to be sleepy, but that's as far as we go. I don't talk about the receptors and all that. I don't get into that. No,
Yeah.
I'm
It's
a
too much.
simple
It's
girl.
overloaded.
Yeah, it's too much.
Um, you bring up a great topic though, because maybe it's because of cost. I'm not sure, but there are a lot of brands where they're 2.5, they're 5, and they're 10, same can, or it looks like the same can.
Hmm.
And and you know, it's not the same as Coke and Diet Coke, but you know, there's some parallels there, and those are two different looking like cans. But I
Yep.
understand
No, I'm
the
like, I keep looking off. I have this like wall of beverages,
mhm.
and like there's so many, and I'm like, if unless I was looking at the milligrams, like they're all like side by side, literally pretty much the
Uh-huh.
same.
Yeah. No, it's the same. I know, and I know it's I would imagine it's a cost thing because I know how expensive it is to produce them
But it
and
couldn't be
so on.
like they're still gonna have to print another can. Like so, regardless, they
Right.
should at least change the colors, like or I don't know
They
something that says
should.
like high dose or I don't know they call out. But again, their customers might not care. So I'm just
Right.
talking about my customers.
Right.
So
Right. Right. So have you played with AI at all in your content workflow?
I don't use AI for editing. I don't use AI for video. Like I have used AI. Like if for example, I took a picture of a product and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, can you like put this in a pretty box?
Uh-huh.
You
Yeah.
know, I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to like set it all up and do all the things. That's perfect.
Okay.
I have done like put this bottle in a certain place because some of the brands, like we don't get a lot of like unique photos or whatever for them. Or sometimes we
Yeah.
like to put other brands, like for example, if we're doing an email about energy, like
Yeah.
uplifting drinks or
Yeah.
products, I want an image that has all of these brands on it. Sometimes I'll just throw that into AI and it'll generate something. I
Right.
do like to ideate social media. A lot of times I'll be like, I'm, or because I'm lazy. For example, the biscuit recipe yesterday. I was
Yeah.
like, I did this recipe on biscuits. I'm gonna post it on social media. I need a good caption. I want to list the recipe. I use 2 cups of this, and I just like voice record it into, or I voice whatever,
Yep.
dictate it into the app, and then it's like, perfect. Here's your caption, and I copy it, paste it, and then I always edit it a little bit because it always seems to sound a little bit like a robot.
Yep.
I do that often, not all the time. I use it a lot in like content creation, like in emails. I'm like, does this sound direct enough? Or how can I make this like funnier? Or I don't know, or more, like more
Hmm.
like whatever, less salesy. And
Yeah.
that's helpful, even though I don't always use what it shoots back at me. But there's so many times I'm like, do I sound like a raging bitch? And it's like, no, you sound perfectly fine. But to make this a little bit more polished and professional, don't you love how ChatGPT is like your best friend? It's so kind to you.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's so many ways I use AI. But a lot of the
Yeah.
times it is in ChatGPT. And I have been using this one image I don't know, to create images.
What's the one I used chat? I forget the prompt. I think it's something like in chat, say, tell me something I don't know about myself.
Hmm.
It was it was heavy when it
It was
like came
deep. I
out with
bet you it was
like
deep.
it was deep, but then I don't know, I like having conversations with chat. So I'm like, you're blowing smoke up my ass. And it was like, because it was all positive, like I was like the superstar of superstars. And I'm like, come on. And I was like, you're right. I am these, and then it gave me like other stuff that I could improve on, and I was like, "Oh God, this is like, this is heavy." But I do like chat. I've messed around with a lot of different video editing things. There's some really cool like processes in there that like I'll use it on this to pump up all our audio because, like we talked about, we're not using any mics, just our computer mics, but we'll make it so that hopefully it will sound like there's some nice, beautiful podcast mics in this room. I'll also probably work with the eyeline. There's a really cool eyeline feature that'll make it so that we're looking into the lens the whole time. But it's crazy how fast it's going and the different things that you can do with just an image and have an image turned into a full-fledged video. But I do think the parallels are tough on that because when I look at what you're doing and it's so authentic and right to the point and vulnerable, and I don't know necessarily if yet where that intersects with AI. So that's what I think is so unique about your content. Like, we worked with a company where we did a product reviews for companies and a lot of UGC content, and it's typical, right? You pay somebody to give a review, whatever the review is. It could be a bad review, whatever they like or dislike about a product. and that was really successful for companies, but that has shifted to, if you've Googled any of these UGC, if you just Google UGC at this point, you'll come up with a plethora of it's very freaky, of AI generated robot people, if whatever, I don't know what the term is for them, and you can make them say anything about like, this product is so amazing because whatever, I like the carbonation and the and it's like, I think in the short term that content is probably going to get somebody a lot of return, but as far as whenever that it's unveiled that like these are just fakes, I don't know where it goes. So it's
Yeah,
interesting how that develops.
another trick that I discovered with my role at the university is Notebook. Have you ever used Notebook LM, or do you know what it is?
Now I don't even know what that is.
So Notebook LM is a Google tool, I believe, but I think it was meant to like take like dissertations or like
Mm,
public like documents and put it into a podcast form. And so people who had to like research, instead of like having to read a document, you can put it in there and it gives you this like half-hour podcast talking about the topic of what was in that document. Throw your website in it. Throw your website in Notebook
oh
LM, and it'll give you a 30-minute podcast about your website. Not because you want to share that. It will unlock like what someone else or a robot is taking away from your website. Like, it's
wow,
so interesting. Like, for
yeah,
example, it's like when it came back with mine, they're like, "Oh, this mom and daughter duo, like blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Thank goodness they captured that." But I was working with another company and they put theirs in there, and they're like, it came up with this most random podcast because they did not know exactly what this company did. And I'm like, that is a huge message to the founder,
yeah,
that your value proposition or your business is not articulated well on your website enough for even a robot to follow along. So
right.
throw it in there and see what it says.
Oh,
I
that's,
think
I'm
it's a
gonna have
cool
to
thing.
try it. Notebook, what did you say? Notebook
Notebook LM. Mhm.
LM. Okay, I'm gonna definitely try that out.
Another
Um,
thing I would think
yeah,
is, if people aren't, their brain isn't open to thinking about everything that's going on in their life,
yeah,
tell ChatGPT, like, I want to create more behind the scenes. Maybe take a screenshot of your calendar, or maybe you
oh,
could feed it your calendar
yeah,
and say, like, are there any types of like short form videos or b-roll content that I could get from my weekday or my week, my work week,
right.
that would be good for videos? Because then you could always just like, it could maybe say, oh, I see you're going to be so and so, like prop up your TV or your phone and get a b-roll and put this video or this caption on the video. I don't know, I think there's something there that
Oh,
people could do if they're not super creative naturally.
oh, for sure. I think people that are using chat and they're using it for ideas, I think they could even, I mean, they could ask it for a hook. They could say, "I want to talk about XYZ. This is the video. This is how long it is. This is exactly who the audience is that we're going to talk about. We're looking for hooks, and we want it unscripted." And chat will give you some phenomenal ideas, and then go back to what you said. You're going to make changes anyway. I thought your video that you did with you showed people how to edit videos, and you did it really, really well. And I'm going to show you that I'm going to talk about this particular brand, and then I'm going to leave some negative space here so I can put some text. And like, you're using I think CapCut, right?
Yeah, I use CapCut. All of those kind of basic video editors do the same stuff. Like, I
Yeah.
don't normally put text on the screen. If I want to add text on the screen, I'll add text in TikTok. I don't
Uh-huh.
know, my brain makes me feel like if I edit just a little bit in TikTok, it's gonna like give me some bonus points.
Oh, that's
Same thing when I
interesting.
repost it in Instagram, I always swipe to another filter overlay. Again, in my head, I'm just thinking they think I'm using their tool to edit my video.
Those are good tricks to the trade. That's a really great idea. I would imagine that there is some value in that.
The same thing with CapCut is owned by TikTok. So when you
Yeah.
post right from CapCut into TikTok, it makes it have hashtag CapCut. And so again, I just leave it because I think maybe TikTok will reward me for using their tool.
Right, instead of getting rid of it. That's smart.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's
I
see.
don't know. Again, these are just my assumptions, but they seem to be working. So maybe there's something to them.
Are you kidding me? You're crushing it. Like, you have over 200,000 like followers, and like, I don't know, by what's your forecast in jet by January? Like, what,
Oh, I was blown away when I hit 100,000.
Yeah.
Like, never would I have thought I could get here.
Right.
But now I'm like, gosh, if I could do, I think I can get 10,000 followers more a month. That's like what I think I can, if I continue to do what I'm doing, I can get at least 10,000. But it's crazy because the more followers you have, the more comments you have, the more people your videos get in front of. And so it's
Yeah.
this
Out.
this whole math equation of the more you have, you know, the same thing with more followers I have when I have a product drop, I'm automatically now in front of more people.
Yeah. Yeah. It's what is it? It's more money, more problems.
It is
Or,
indeed more money, more
or,
problems.
or more followers, more problems. Maybe I should say.
Yes.
I don't
Oh my gosh, I
know.
had the nastiest private message sent to me the other day, and I'm
Oh
probably going to
God.
post about it publicly. I'll take away her name.
Uh-huh.
But again, I just want to be like authentic and real.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I have to deal with this shit too, like in my DMs. Like what the hell? But I want to make I always I'm my like stage, I don't want to say my stage name. I go by Kimmie. My friends and family call me Kim or Kimmie. But I was always Kim Gamez online until I started TikTok and my teenage daughter was like, Kim, that's so because I was like Kim Gamez 512, which was my birthday. And she's like, Mom, that is so lame. I'm like, then change my name. And she's like, Kimmie G. And I was like, am I a stripper? Like, what is this? I'm like, is that my stage name? Is that my DJ name? Like, what is going on? And she's like, no, it's fine. So then people were like, oh, Kimmie G, Kimmie G. So anyway, I don't know where I
That's
was going with any of this,
hysterical.
but
I don't know, but it doesn't matter. That's great. Kimmie G. That's like that. I mean, by the way, that is better than 512. So, like,
it
you know,
is. It is.
um, what's like one mistake you hope other founders don't repeat?
Don't
That
build
could
too
be, oh,
much. Don't build
what's that?
like don't do too much. Don't build the thing until you test it. Like I see so many of these founders in the hemp space like pour their life savings into creating a beverage that they haven't actually tried to like make and have people test even locally. Like think about Poppy. I don't know if you've heard the story of
Yeah.
like how Poppy started, how she was literally making bottles, canning them and like selling them at farmers markets until she got it right. Where a lot of these hemp brands are just like putting everything into these like random formulas or random flavors without actually testing them in market. I don't know. Or just going way too big too fast and not knowing really what they're doing. Like right now we're trying to launch in retail and as much as I would love to knock on the doors of Total Wine and More and being like we reach 30 million people a month on social media, I can drive sales to your store. I don't know what I'm doing in retail. Like nope, I don't
Yeah.
know that my packaging is right for retail. Like I want to test a couple accounts, make sure product moves, make sure that those accounts are super successful because if I get into like the big leagues and I can go and like get a bunch of stores, I want to make sure that product moves and I want to make sure those stores are okay. So I got to test small. So just try not to do too much too fast. Test. Also, when it comes to like social media, same thing. Like, don't try too hard. Like, just
Yeah.
real like vulnerable, like random moments. And again, you don't have to talk in the camera. That like B-roll with that white space, you can just be like looking out shaking your head, you know, like doing some kind of motion silently, or maybe you're talking to yourself, just mute it on your video, throw some text into that white space of your screen, and talk about, like, I never thought this would be a part of my life now as a founder. And then it's like, look in the caption to hear my story. Then they click on your caption. You can literally write out your day if you want and you don't have to actually say it into the camera. So just like try
Right.
all the things. So don't
Right.
invest in all like the lighting equipment and the mics and all the hoopla. Like once you know it works, then you can do that. Or maybe you never do that. I haven't. I'm propping my phone up on my computer right now and I'm using natural light from my window. So
No, you're doing, yeah, but and I'm not trying to call other brands out or anything, but I've seen numerous content where they just show a can, open the can, and it pours in a glass. And, you know, just it's visually very nice, but like there's no substance to that. And, you know, the tips that you just gave, or almost everything that's on your TikTok, there's none of that. You know, there's an action item and there's discussion and there's content. So you know, there's a lot more to it.
yeah.
Um, so is that next though? You're looking at being potentially in stores and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, the whole idea for Soberish was be a marketplace. But let's
Yeah.
be honest, the way that this industry is shaking out, I'm nervous that direct to consumer sales will be on the chopping block And
Mm,
so I just want to have a safety net. I don't want to compete against the brands that we sell. So I'm trying to play in spaces that I'm comfortable with. Like I'm never going to create a ready to drink beverage. Like I don't
right.
want to. There's plenty of great, amazing brands to fill that void. I think we have some unique offerings that, of products that we've created that I think should exist in the world and now do. So yeah, retail is where we're going next. And again, our customer, she wants to buy beverage in store. So when she's
Right.
going out with her girls tonight, or she's going golfing with her husband tomorrow, or she's just trying to relax after a long day, she doesn't want to wait 2 days to get her product shipped to her. She
Right.
wants to go to the store and buy the product and take it home with her. And so I want to be there for her too. But if she wants to buy online too, if she doesn't have these products readily available to her in her local store, then she could buy from us online.
And is that like the drops?
Drops, we have our shots. So we have,
Hmm.
I thought there needed to be like a vodka replacement. I'm like, why is there just
Yeah.
not like flavor, you know, with a buzz like Soberish? So we have like Soberish berry, Soberish coconut.
That's good.
Um,
I like that. I like the concept of, because like just going back and watching your content where you're like, I mean, you're, I guess, you're a serial entrepreneur, but like you're a bartender at heart as well, right? I mean,
mhm,
like, so it's like you get to make the cocktail. So if it's already flavored, then you're somewhat, so to be able to, like, when you're doing the drops, or maybe it's the vodka that you're talking about, that like where you can splash it up or splash it down however you kind of want, versus like some of the it just gives you a nice variety of other products that are already out there, that
mhm.
that you're maybe locked into lemon or raspberry or whatever the flavor of choice is.
Yeah, it's honestly for me, again, I wanted to simplify it for her. Like she
Yeah.
knows what she's gonna make with her absolute citron. Like she, if she wants a lemon drop or she wants like a dirty martini or whatever, like she knows what she's gonna put in that. So I just need to give her those flavors so she knows how to make those cocktails at home and still would get a similar like euphoric effect or buzz, but without the alcohol.
What does soberish mean to you, like beyond the brand?
Soberish is just about trying to be a little bit more responsible, but still not losing that fun. If you want to maybe, not consume the extra calories, not have that hangover, not have all those like bad choices of the things you might have done under the influence of alcohol, but still want that like relaxing, buzz effect. But in all honesty, have alcohol. I don't care.
Hmm.
Like, you
Right.
can have alcohol or not.
Yeah.
As long like I just think there should be products that exist. For me, my mom's been sober now for over a year. And
Wow.
so, well, she's soberish. She likes our products, but she's been alcohol free. And she tried to be, clean for so many years and just struggled so hard. And now, if she wants something to take the edge off, she isn't telling herself no. She's saying, "Oh, I
Right.
could like crack open a can of, drinking buds, or I could have a can, or I could have a cycling frog, or a,
Hmm.
Pharaoh's, and she's like, and now, like, at least for her, she can have one or two drinks, catch a little buzz, and be done. But if that was
Right.
White Claws, she would have the whole case and probably drive up to the store to get more. And so for me, that's a huge win. Like whether
Oh,
it's my
yeah.
mom or someone else, if I can help them in their own journey, I don't know, huge win. So
Yeah. Heck yeah. That's awesome. Anything else that we didn't really discuss that you want to bring up? I really thank you so much for taking the time. I really appreciate it.
yeah, no, this was fun. No, I think we covered everything.